Hello, my beautiful rock stars. It's your girl Rocqi, your revolutionary hippie from LifeIsRocqi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And I guess another episode, and I'm black, y'all. Because I'm just feeling blackity, blackity, black, black during Black History Month. And then shout out to my black, my black bi? I don't know. But anyways, who I'm supporting today is Black of the College, Sweeter Than Knowledge. There we go. By the Cultured Savage. And if you didn't know, this was one of the shirts that the cast of A Different World actually wore back in the 90s. So excited to be a part of the culture. And then for today, I am Black History. I wanted to kind of explore that. And it was because I was a part of a Black homeschooling Facebook group. And the mom was talking about how to teach Black history, and she had a very limited definition of what Black history is. She said it was, one, ancestors, so people who have died for the cause. So specifically civil rights really was what she was really getting to. People who have died for the cause was what she wanted to teach for Black history, and all that she thought Black history was. So I was like, we need a moment in time where we're discussing this, especially because our colonizers are banning our history in the classroom. So we need to take a moment, you know? I can't answer that. Sorry, I got a text from my husband. You're gonna have to wait. But what's it called? So first I want to address what history is. So an article on Google said that history is the study of change over time. It is political, social, economic, scientific, technological, medical, cultural, intellectual, religious, and regarding the military. The study of change over time. And then regarding Black history, some people consider it Black American history. Some extend it to Africans in the diaspora. So that's the Caribbean, the continent, as well as South America. And it was interesting seeing this point of view. Black history is the ancestors who died for the cause. Not just died, but for the cause. And I was like, God, that's so limiting. I was like, Black history is the past, the present, and the future. And then it's not just our struggle. Fuck that, okay? Because like slavery and civil rights, the fuck, that's it? That's all our history? Fuck that. But anyways. I consider, one, that's not the start of our history. We going back to the continent for the start, okay? And then also to look at our beauty, our love, our joy, our excellence as also a part of the culture. Oh, to that point, this head wrap is from The Rap Life. And I believe my previous video, I think it was What is Polyamory, is also from The Rap Life. But yeah, it's not just our pain, y'all. Like, come on. And that would be so disheartening if all of our essence, our story, is just our pain. Like, nah. And that's why so I grew up with American Girl, and they have a doll and historical book collection associated with the doll, like stories of the doll. And I had Addie Walker, and she was an escaped runaway slave. And that's when I was like 9. And they have since added 2 more dolls that are Black to their historical collection. They added a 3rd one, but I didn't know of that launch, nor do they retired the character. So I don't even know much information about that one. But the 2 others one is from Civil Rights, and her name is Melody, and then also Claudie, and she's from the Harlem Renaissance. And I love the Harlem Renaissance period because that is just us being us. You know, after years of slavery and dealing with Reconstruction and Jim Crow, we just went to Harlem and was like, you know what? Let's be in our artistic, intellectual, linguistic, cultural fucking selves, man. Leave us the fuck alone and let us be. And good God, were we just beautiful, joyous, excellent, and just great. And I love that period of time because it shows who we are despite all the struggles, as well as when we're left the fuck alone, you know, what we can do, right? And I realized I also love the 90s because it was also that, like, mind you, so obviously the Great Depression squashed, you know, Harlem Renaissance, and then you had the World Wars, right? And then you had the Civil Rights Movement. Obviously that was the struggle, and disco was right after the 60s, but that wasn't like musically, and maybe fashion or dance. Yeah, it was kind of, in my opinion, it was chill. Like, you know, it wasn't a literary movement, artistic movement. It was just like having a good time, basically. And then the 80s, you had the crack epidemic, and then the beginning of mass incarceration. So the 90s into the 2000s was another moment where it was like coming off our pain. And whenever we're processing our pain, we turn it into art, which is one of our healing attributes that we have of our people. And the 90s into the 2000s, and I think we owned a lot, and not only owned a lot, but also had a lot of representation. Like, if you recall, UPN, WB, that was our shit all up and through. And then of course BET, when it was BET, right? And it was fucking amazing, 106 and Park and all that stuff. So like the 90s and into the 2000s, like all of the black movies with they call them the Black Rat Pack or whatever. So Taye Diggs, Sanaa Lathan, Regina Hall, you know, Taraji P, you know, like it was such a beautiful era of us. And our joy and our excellence and our beauty. Like, it was just a beautiful time period of us. So the Harlem Renaissance, the 1920s and the 90s into the 2000s are really periods where I love about us and our history. And again, Black history, I consider the past, the present, and the future. To that point, history is the study of change over time. And I think a lot of people concentrate on change makers, and I do consider myself a change maker. First and foremost, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I have worked at a Black practice. Outside of my practicum experience, my whole 7 years that I've been practicing, and while I was in practicum, I still had a majority Black and brown population. While I've been at the Black practices, I've had a majority Black and brown population, majority Black. And yeah, I'm for the people, you know? I'm not gonna deny nobody, but I'm for the people. So that's how I'm a change maker in that aspect. I also have my YouTube channel and my blog. I'm trying to create change in that way as well. I'm also an advocate and stand up for what I believe in. Oh yes, y'all, I'm creating a Black and Poly virtual panel for Non-Monogamy Visibility Week. I got the yeses from 4 different panelists. So I'm really excited about facilitating that and getting that together. So that's going to be in July, because we here and we poly. And we need representation because the media ain't showing it, and we here. Okay, but anyways, what else am I doing? I also have the podcast with my husband. It's a real podcast. We haven't done it in a few years, but we would love to get back to it. The child is preventing that, so one day. And then I'm also a published author. Check out my book, and it's in the description box below. The Roots Beneath the Tree, a book of poetry by Ashley Raquel. And I'm working on my second book now. And that's just the poetry side. I'm definitely going to be doing some self-help books, so stay tuned for that. So all that to say, I am a change maker, and I am making history. I am concentrating on leaving this world better than I found it. And I'm also making sure that my legacy outlives me. Right? And also with my children, I'm breaking generational trauma out the yin yang, right? And trying to make sure that I am, you know, the matriarch for the generations that come from me. And I'm intentional about the values, lessons, rites of passage, things that I want to pass down. So that's how I am Black history. But I also think, it's important to acknowledge the non-change makers, like the Black moms who decide to homeschool, or your grandparents who were able to provide for your family. Like, it doesn't have to be some big historical moment to be history, right? And I think we need to put respect on just our existence being history, you know? So that part. And then speaking of my book, I actually, which actually has a ton of Black poems, like Black, and me questioning my identity and then becoming proud of my identity. Yeah, definitely check it out. But The Roots Beneath the Tree by Ashley Raquel. So I was actually inspired to publish finally. Like, I was planning on publishing in 2019, but good Lord, self-publishing was a lot if you didn't want to use Amazon, and I was trying not to. But now that my daughter's almost 2, I've established a curriculum for homeschooling. So I use the public library, and I was going through Black history. So in January, I do diversity, into Black beauty, into slavery and civil rights. And a part of the Black beauty is also African, books about Africa as well. And then the Caribbean as well. And then into Women's History Month for March. And while I'm reading about all of our ancestors, specifically our writer ancestor, I was like, y'all, I'm not that different. Like, I'm an award-winning writer already before I published my book, you know? And I was like, why am I not published? So then I, sucked it up and went on Amazon and self-published my book, The Roots Beneath the Tree by Ashley Raquel. And yeah, I was like, again, I need my legacy to outlive me. And I have a poem that I'll share with you. It's in my book, as well as I'm included in every book. Power, magic, beauty. Words create life. Words paint a picture. Words are the light when life goes dark. And that's basically saying you ain't gonna be here forever, but your words will outlive you. So what you gonna say? And the written word, especially because we're an oral people, right? Oral storytelling is our thing. But, the colonizers respect the written word. And that's the only thing. And you know what's interesting? When I was reading some native indigenous history, like, yo, them plagues was real. Like, them epidemics swept through entire tribes. And it's like, all that generational knowledge was lost. Like, if you wiped it out, that means it wasn't able to be passed down, right? It was just gone, right? So there is limits to that oral storytelling. I do think we still should be a part of that, but written does outlive you. Okay, so now I got a published book. Check me out. So that's what inspired me to publish. I was reading about the ancestors and I was like, you know what? I'm preparing to be an ancestor. I'm preparing for my legacy, and I need my legacy to outlive me. I need my words to carry on even when I'm gone from this earth, So that's what inspired me to finally publish. And then this past weekend, I went to a Black children's book fair at the African American Museum in Oakland. And I have gone to the National Museum of African American History and Culture in DC. Loved it. I definitely want to go back. I'm going to try to go home to Maryland this summer. So hopefully I can go back because it was just magical. Because I love us. But anyways, so yeah, I went to this book fair and I realized it was amazing being in a room full of Black writers. And I have not been in that kind of space. 1, really ever, but 2, since I've been published. And I was like, oh my God, like I need to continue being around other Black writers in person. I need to, that was an amazing feeling of our excellence, right? And then one of the writers was a 14-year-old girl, and she was on her 3rd published book, y'all. And I was like, it's never too early, it's never too late. And yeah, I need to Harlem Renaissance. I need to surround myself with people who are like me. And for the most part, professionally, with health and wellness, I have built that community, but I also need to make sure creatively I'm building that tribe as well and surrounding myself with other Black artists. Which is actually nice because I recently met a Black queer poly mama who's also a published poet, you know? So I'm like, yeah, building my community, you know? So yeah, I'm really, really excited about that, and being a part of history. But you also can be a part of history, even if you're not a change maker, even if you're not publishing anything, you know, just your existence, you being here is history. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, take care of you. Light and love.